Welcome to the fourth instructional video in the 7th grade math sequence for Krista McAuliffe Academy. Module 1, Topic 4 is entitled Proportional Relationships. Module 1, Topic 4, students should use the Cornell closed notes provided by the teacher while they watch the video, filling in the missing word or words. After filling in the missing information, students should write a question for each box or chunk of information that will help them connect with the key concept or terms. The day after taking the notes and writing the questions, the student should answer each question using complete sentences in the summary section of the Cornell notes. Module 1, Topic 4 is entitled Proportional Relationships, and it is entirely about percent problems. Students are going to use proportional reasoning to solve percent problems, representing percent problems as proportions and also as proportional equations. The math standard that we are addressing is 7RP, analyze proportional relationships and use them to solve real-world problems. Why we are learning this? Well, percent problems shape our daily lives. How much will we pay in sales tax? How much in income tax, in tips, in interest? How much will we save and earn? How will we know if we are successful with this unit? We will know that we have achieved the math standard if we can solve percent problems. What is a proportional relationship? That is the big question of the quarter, actually last quarter and this quarter. A proportional relationship is a multiplicative relationship between the amounts of two different things. If two different quantities are in a proportional relationship, they will get bigger at the same rate, and they will get smaller at the same rate. For example, if we are comparing the number of sodas to the number of dollars, if we have one soda, it's going to cost us 75 cents. But if we multiply that and we have two sodas, then that's going to cost us twice as much, $1.50. We can scale up again to 10 sodas. 2 times 5 is 10. 150 times 5 is going to give us 750. So we can scale up to get the cost of a larger number, and then we can scale down as well. So from 10 sodas, 10 times 1/10 will give me 1, and $7.50 times 1/10 will give me 75 cents. How is a percent a proportion? Well, percent means out of 100. So what we're doing is we are comparing, if we had, for instance, 30%, that would be 30 out of 100. And then we might want to find out how many that is out of 50. So that would be our whole, and our part would be the matching piece that goes with percent. So 30 out of 100 would be equal to 15 out of 50. We can use both equations and proportions to solve percent problems. On the left, I've shown what happens if we translate this problem 15% of 20 is what into an equation. Well, the 15%, in order to use it, we're going to have to turn it into a decimal, and 0.15 is the decimal equivalent of 15%. The of translates to our multiplication. If we take 15% of something, we're going to be multiplying. 20 is just directly translated down, so we have 1500ths times 20 equals what? Well, you do that math and you get the number 3. So we know that 3 is 15% of 20. On the right, we can set up a proportion to solve. So here is my 15%, so 15 over 100, and we've set it equal to something, which we don't know, over 20. Well, our constant multiplier is going to be 1/5. 15 times 1/5 is 3. 100 times 1/5 is 20. So we still get the same answer. 3 is 15% of 20. Markups and markdowns are two situations that you're going to see in real life, and you'll want to understand them, especially the markdowns. You'll want to know if they tell you you're going to get 15% off. You're going to want to know what you're going to have to pay. Um, Markups, which is our first, is here on the left, and it says you pay 100% of the whole plus X% of the whole, or a part. And then underneath that, I've rewritten that. So we took the 100 plus the X, and we're going to be able to add those together, and we'll take that percent of the whole to find a markup. For a markdown, what you're going to pay is 100% of the whole minus X% of the whole. So we're going to be subtracting out here 100 minus whatever percent they say is being discounted or marked down. And I have combined those down below. It says 100 minus X will give us the number percent of the whole that we are looking for. Markdowns. Percent off versus percent of. Usually when you see a markdown or discount price, it's going to say something like 10% off. Well, 10% off is the piece of the pie that you are going to be subtracting out. So this blue piece, that 10%, you won't have to pay that 10%. But what it means is that you're going to pay 90% because 100 minus 10 is 90. Tips. Tips are a percentage of a total sale that is added to the total paid, specifically to be given to the waiter, waitress, hairdresser, masseuse. For example, my haircut costs $16, so I'm going to pay the hairdresser $16 plus a 20% tip. Here you'll see my $16 plus 20% as a decimal is 0.20 times the $16. And when I multiply those together, I get $3.20. So I'm going to pay a total of $18.20 for my $16 haircut. The $3.20 tip goes directly to my hairdresser. Commissions. Commissions are a percentage of a sale that is paid to the seller. Unlike tips, this amount is not added to the whole, rather it is taken out of the whole. If I bought my car for $34,000 at Rusty Act 4, then the salesman would receive a commission. If he received a 10% commission from the sale, I could find 10% of 34,000 in order to determine what his commission is. So what you see here is 10% as a decimal, 0.10 times 34,000, and that's going to equal $3,400. Now that's just a piece of the 34,000. So 3,400 of the 34,000 that I paid goes directly to the salesperson who sold me the car. The other $30,600 goes to the dealership. Simple interest. There is an equation that you're going to want to memorize for simple interest, and you're going to want to know it for a while because it's one of those things they ask you when you do your college admissions tests and things like that. Interest is equal to principal times rate times time. I equals PRT. Interest is the amount of money that is made from money. It's generated as a percentage of the balance deposited or as the balance owed. Principal is the whole. It's the balance in the account from which interest is generated. Rate, that's the interest rate, and we need to use it as a decimal in this equation. And time has to be in years for this equation. So if we had 6 months, then we would type in 1/2, or we would write 1/2 year. So we're always going to put time in years. Sales tax is a percentage of the whole that is added to the total that you pay. Sales tax rates vary by state. In Kansas, our sales tax rate is 6.5% or 0.065 as a decimal. If the total of the items that I purchase at Dillon's is $22, how much will I pay in total? I will have to determine and add in the tax that they are going to charge me as well. So what I have here is my $22 plus, and there's my sales tax rate as a decimal. I'm going to multiply that by the $22. That will give me $1.43 that will be paid in tax to the government, and the $22 will go to the store. In total, what I pay is $23.43. Income tax is a percentage of your pay that is taken out and given to the government. Income tax rate vary based on total income, number of dependents, etc. Regardless, some of the money that you make is going to go to the government as income tax. For example, if the government takes 8% of my $250 paycheck, how much do I take home? Well, I can multiply that 8% as a decimal, 0.08, by the $250, and that's just going to give me the portion that goes to the government, which is $20. Now, 0.92, how did I get 0.92? If I multiply that decimal by $250, I will get the amount that goes to me, $230. I could also get that just by subtracting the amount that goes to the government out of the 250 total. Either way, $20 will go to the government and $230 will go to me if the income tax rate is 8%. In conclusion, percent means out of 100. We can set up a proportion to solve any percent problem. And we can translate percent of into an equation using the decimal equivalent of a percent to solve problems.